Hi, everybody. As I adjust my camera real quick, welcome to Materia D&D, where we play D&D our way. We are on session 121 tonight, and my players are speaking some sort of Spanish to me all
Sí.
the time. So yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm a little distracted just from the beginning. Let's see. So on the previous sessions of the story of the Crass Menagerie, they have been inside what they have called the heart of the mountain. It is the monastic city that was home to a practice of forge mastery, um, guided by and trained through an entity known as Agni, a for all intents and purposes a fox spirit, or a spirit that has manifested itself into the form of a fox. That resided in the mountain, but also, as the menagerie learned, was, uh, I guess, patron's not necessarily the right word, but the protector and the what watched over the surrounding areas. Hint all the fox uh, aspects throughout the cities and towns and villages and namescapes around here: Foxwoods, Volpine, etc. Um, well, what had happened is that long ago, uh, Agni, the fox spirit, came into conflict with a green dragon that the menagerie has come to know as the Despoiler of Virtue, and that dragon stole one of two of Agni's eyes. Not the actual physical eyes, but uh, as Agni is not a being of this realm, uh, two foxfire gems were found within the center of the mountain, and while in a scuffle, it stole the gems, which greatly diminished and weakened Agni. And over time, due to this weakened state, the current physical state or manifestation of Agni was able to fall to the corruption that has come upon the mountain, that is due to the dragon's sickness for it being within the area. The menagerie also know of some things that have fallen to the sickness of the mountain. The history of Carver, for example. They ran into denizens that dwell deep within the caverns of the mountains, known as the Greed Rot, the Grimlocks. And most recently, they had traversed through a portion of the surrounding woods known as the Stranglebark. Another thing that the Despoiler had brought long ago with it was its followers of kobolds, though they followed it not so much out of love and respect, but of, well, fear and servitude. However, none of the surviving members of the kobolds exist. However, their descendants have survived, even has survived an attempted purging and culling of their kind by the dragon, as, if I recall right, Dregnar? No, Dregnar buried them. I can't remember who. I think it was Rock stumbled upon
Mhm.
an old settlement. Um, so sorry, yeah, there's a bit of a history lesson because we're setting up for the fact that the menagerie, well, they've kind of done a lot of what they came here to do. Uh, Throughout this process, Davis forged himself a new weapon, as getting entry into the heart of the mountain caused his Hearthguard to shatter. But through hugs and through joint effort, Davis's will was able to be brought manifest into the form of a glaive once again, um, that he has deemed the Redeemer, and now that it has a living fragment of Agni forged within it, uh, is hopefully going to be the instrument that is to assist the menagerie in their second encounter, as they seem dead set on tracking back to the Despoiler's lair and, we'll just say, cleansing the mountain of its sickness. So last session we left off with the menagerie back with the descendants of those very kobolds that followed the Despoiler here. They are known as the crack checkers. They absolutely adore the menagerie, especially Sej, because he's the food man. Osut, their leader, extremely old for a kobold. We're talking well into the past 100 years old. Has made it so that the kobolds, or a portion of the kobolds, will travel with the menagerie, assisting them through the Stranglebark as they try to find the entry point to the dragon's lair. I don't really have too much more to cover on that. We're going to be short a couple players tonight, but that's okay. So, anything from you guys? Are we good to start rolling?
I guess just administratively, I'll run Dregnar because I kind of know his stuff. I don't know who's going to run Sedge.
Trying to read up on Sej. Meant to do my homework an hour ago. Got pulled away, but I can work on that.
Okay. I will say, I think they put it in your channel some notes of things that they wanted to do. I know they were discussing with me some things, but if it comes down to it, I'll message the person that's running them if they haven't done something specific. Cool. So I will say, for the people that are rolling or running them, don't worry about the rolls. Whenever you say you want to do a check, I have about 100 rolls per player that I will just start randomly within the section and just start going down the list. Hopefully just to kind of keep it a little bit cleaner and faster.
I need it.
All right. So, yeah. Where does the menagerie wish to do?
I think we
What
owe
do
them.
we
Actually, what time of day is it right now? I don't even remember.
That's the thing. For the life of me, I can't remember where we left off.
Let me look at my notes.
I remember that Osut had
Yeah, I think
ordered
it's
a
afternoon.
number of kobolds to go raid. Yeah, afternoon makes sense.
Because, yeah, like we woke up, we went to try and go into that one, like the Scar, as I was calling it. That took a while. We realized it was a no-go, and then we had to kind of trek back, and then we had to trek all the way to the kobold camp, so.
Yeah. No, it's we'll just call it late afternoon, early evening. Osut had ordered numerous kobolds to go raid Carver, which basically means go scavenge things that people have thrown away or misplaced or left out
Yeah,
in
if
the
we've
open.
got some time, I will go find a place by myself and start raiding.
Sure. Anything in particular you want to share about the writing, or is it just?
I'm just writing a letter.
Gotcha.
I think it's like my
Understood.
7th one.
I think so too. Something like that, 6 or 7. All right. So, yeah. Uh, what are we doing? Like, you guys are leaving in the morning, right? Those who just kind of looks at the remaining gathering of the menagerie.
Yeah, Dregnar will explain. Basically, like, yeah, we need to venture back through the Stranglebark back to the way we came. You know, the way you followed us the first time.
Yes, but why do you feel you need to do this?
Well,
You're not from here.
no, but Davis has a connection with the spirit, the fox spirit. I think you know of it. And, you know, we're trying to help him reclaim something that was his, and also to cleanse this, his realm of this nasty spirit.
Ah, so dragon, not a spirit, but I get what you're saying.
Right.
I just think, how do I put this? It's not your fight, but you're making it your fight. Are you guys trying to be heroes or something?
No, we just stumble into things and we try to help people.
Aha. Okay. Now, understand, I've lived a very long life. I'm gonna guess I'm older than all of you, because none of you seem as gray as I do.
I don't actually. Is he older than Dregnar? I don't actually know.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's right. Dregnar's
Yeah.
relatively young for a dwarf.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, look. And you've proven yourselves because you've survived. You've managed to do the test, and you realize that going forward isn't always the right way. And sometimes you gotta go back. And I mean, I'm just gonna ramble here because honestly, I don't know what to say. But you can't help people if you're dead. Are you sure you're
But
ready
we
to go
also
back?
can't help people if we don't try, right? And this is something that we feel we can do. We've faced it before. We've only gotten stronger since then, and we weren't even at our best when we faced it the first time. So
Okay. I'm just saying. Maybe maybe I've lived in, uh, in cowardice for long, and it's just become, second nature. But
well, there's strength in just maintaining a community and a society and helping people that need help along the way. There's some strength in that too.
well, the thing is, on top of that, is this mountain's not our home. We've made it our home.
Then it is your home.
We inherited it.
That's okay.
No.
Do you have a home that you want
Everything
to go
goes.
back to or something? Or is there a home that you...
Oh, all of us were hatched here. We don't know another place.
Well, then this
But
is your home.
we still. No, can't be.
Why
We
not?
just inherited this place. That's all. Once.
Well, whose home is it if it's not yours?
Hmm, the ones that were before us. The Agnes home.
Well, they can
The
share it with you.
metal people that you told us about, their home.
I don't think they mind you.
Oh, I mean, you say that, but everywhere we go, we always get pushed to the outskirts. Always living in the cracks.
Would you like to live with them, alongside them? We could talk to them,
I don't know. We're never accepted anywhere we go. In fact, the fact that you guys tolerate us, it doesn't make sense to us.
Tolerate you. I think we actually very much enjoy your company.
Yeah, I thought we were.
You guys are great. You're fun.
Mm,
You make a lot of noise, and you're very eager at times, but you're still very helpful, very fun. You bring all sorts of things that help make the food good. You provide a lot.
mm.
You guided
I
us
would.
to where we needed when we needed it. That's we wouldn't have made it without you.
Okay. I'm just. I think.
Listen, the next time we're down talking to the metal people, or in that in their city, we'll make sure that they understand that you deserve to be treated well and to be treated as people who should be able to live along with them if they want. And that this is your home just as it is theirs. And while they were sleeping or when they ran away, you were here helping guide the people who eventually reawakened the forge and who brought the people who are going to cleanse the mountain of the disease that forced them out. So, if anything, you may have earned the right to live here more than they have.
Okay.
You should be
See,
proud of
I like the
yourselves.
way. See, that's what I needed to hear. It's just weird.
It's all the truth.
Always. Mm. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, like you said, we bring good food. You make the good food, we bring the stuff. So,
It's good teamwork.
raiding party should be back in a few hours. Do as
Then
you
we'll chime
wish.
in. Only the best. It's always a delight.
I mean, you guys could always stay here with us. And he does like a, a cheeky little smile, and you see that, he's old, so he's missing a lot of teeth.
Sej raises one eyebrow to Davis.
That was all Dregnar, by the way. That was sorry.
Right.
This
No,
is our
you did
life.
say that.
Davis is off doing something.
Writing
He's
his
writing.
letter.
Letter. Okay. He'll, what do you give the eyebrow to Dregnar?
Okay.
Yeah. Why not? It's like,
Is that supposed to mean something?
It's a consideration is all.
Retirement.
There we go.
Y'all are too young to retire. Ugh. Youths these days just
That's
wanna,
ageist.
hey, lived it. You just wanna be, did this, did that, tired of everything, because I'm weak and frail. Nah, kid. We can open a kobold resort to all friends of kobolds, which doesn't mean there's going to be a lot of them. So it'd be a pretty exclusive resort. Sorry we don't have any like grandiose means for you to prep and plan and get ready for your many-day journey back into the Stranglebark.
We don't plan real well anyway. We just kind of do stuff. Or maybe
Well, it
we,
seems to have worked.
or maybe we sometimes plan, but then they just kind of fall apart.
Yeah, plans don't seem to be very effective.
I heard once, if I remember right, plans don't bring solutions. They just bring consensus. This means everyone points in the right direction or same direction and goes. So y'all planned plenty.
Very
You
wise.
followed, and he points to the Davis, who's like, walked off, and you followed that guy here. I guess you planned that.
Yeah.
Air quotes.
Sort of. Not exactly all of it, but
So, well, I am going to take a nap before it gets way too rowdy, because there's going to be way too much food. Thank you for the earplugs. Puts them in, and one of them kind of falls out. He's like, There you go. I can't hear you if you're talking, but your mouths aren't moving, so you're not talking. Whatever. See you in a few hours. Waddles his way back into his tent. Hey, Jones. Be nice to my chair.
if it's
Alright, so
late enough at some time, I know James did mention to you, I'm sure the meditation stuff he wanted to talk about to do, but basically whenever there's a shot, Dregnar will go meditate.
Yeah, I know. He will.
let me see. So let me just for my players that are here. Anything else that you guys would do before evening festivities or?
For me, the normal routine: feed my bag, try and communicate with it, play ball in the cup with some of my Goldberg friends. Just the usual shenanigans, keeping it lighthearted.
Okay. Um, are you doing when you're communicate? Are you communicating with your bag or just feeding it?
So I feed it whatever I can find, actual, because it seems like actual food better.
Yeah.
And then the whole telepathic bond.
Alrighty. What was it? Was it Jones, stepping on things, closing screens, and
I'm ready for a super headache.
yeah, I was trying to remember. Is it? So we haven't had to talk to the bag in a little while. Is it an Arcana check? Is it a Persuasion check? No matter what the spell is, it lasts for 1 minute. On extremely rare situations, it's possible to build up a tenuous relationship with the extra demon. Okay, yeah. All right. So, um, as you're, as I'm distracted by my kitty, so Rock, as you kind of go and you start to, uh, find a little, like a little set of crates for you to sit down, illuminated by the little bugs in the jars that are glowing, pebble on your shoulder, and you start kind of beginning the process of like, all right, what do I have? And you kind of pull out some leftover foods, cautiously, flipping the bag open, and then just kind of starting like almost like throwing, like playing basketball, like office basketball, where you have a little walled up piece of trash and you're throwing it into the trash can, kind of sitting there and throwing it, falls in. Do another one, misses, so you kind of go off to the side and pick it up. You get another one and you throw it, and you throw it a little bit too hard and it kind of goes flying, and from beyond the darkness, you see like it gets caught in someone's hand, and kind of walking from it is Dregnar, approaching you, and he kind of looks at you. You're still messing with the bag.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of becoming a friend. It gave Davis an armor. Gives me a headache every time I talk to it, but you know me, I'm stupidly persistent.
Mm. Yeah, very stupidly persistent. For someone being so smart, you are really stupid. You And as he's kind of like walking by, he'll whatever he caught, a little piece of like the ration, he'll step by the bag and just kind of drop it so that it falls into the bag, and he kind of walks a little bit closer to you, and then I get to read. Okay. I'm not gonna be able to do the Dregnar, voice that well. But imagine like a firm tone, not an angry tone. Okay.
Okay.
So, all right, listen. I listened to what you had to say, and I've been thinking it over for, well, since you've said it. And I wanted to talk to you about this. Well, and I wanted to pull you aside. Rand Jones, I can't have you walking there. Ugh. I do respect you. Extremely. If I didn't, I wouldn't want to travel with you. You mentioned bleeding. Well, as far as I can think, I've bled more than anyone in this group, for this group. But that is my role here. I choose to throw myself physically into the danger to protect Al, Sej, even Davis, Karos at times, you. But what I do expect is there to be common respect amongst our group. And this is where my problem is with what has happened. You left the group without letting anyone know. On your own, yeah, on a few occasions. And the last time was even more terrifying. We are in a hostile area with numerous enemies around. There's a fucking dragon. There's blind people that will rip your flesh off. You go alone. And don't even say you're not alone, because Pebble's on your shoulder. No offense, Pebble. But all you'll do is squawk.
I didn't go into the darkness. I asked our hosts where the library was. I didn't know the library was gonna pull me to secret room and a spring, and it was all just something I stumbled into. I just wanted to read so I could see if there's anything to help Davis.
Well, this is why it's difficult. I understand you want to help. And I'm glad that you're here to help. But sometimes your help puts us in jeopardy.
I never
Mhm.
intentionally ever do anything that I think would get any of you guys hurt.
We're not discussing intentions. We're just
I
discussing what has happened. Listen, we are in this mountain, from what I understand, for Davis. Not for your wanderlust, but your curiosity is a powerful tool and has benefited us in the past. But to stay away for a whole night and expect us not to be upset is, well, ridiculous, in my opinion. I understand you found something that may help us, and that is great. And from whatever that Samawi said has happened to you, you have a boon, which I'm sure is great. But as often as you've led us to information, you've also led us to trouble. But that being said, sometimes that trouble leads to sheer dumb luck and you found something. But you are right. You are an adult. You're an adult, right? I think you're an adult.
I
Yeah,
almost qualify with my people.
gotcha. And you can make your own decisions, and I will respect that. Just know that if you abandon us again, like last night, I will not go looking for you out of respect for your abilities, and I will assume that you will find your way back as easily as you've left us. You are a part of the menagerie. Now talk to your stupid bag. He just walks away.
Yeah. I put my bag away and I go find a nice quiet little corner and I pick up some pebbles and I just toss the pebbles at the wall and silence.
Okay.
Not anywhere far off. I'm sure everyone ran. But just
Gotcha.
quiet.
Okay. Mhm. All right. Karos or Al? Anyone else doing anything?
Al would be sitting with Lunlin, and if there's any kobolds that want to play with her like last time, that's fine. But he'd mostly be speaking to her, and the two of them would be trying to come up with what other form could you take? I feel like the fox with wing is such. I think it's been a good luck charm so far. She'll be like, she'll nod. And they'll just kind of go back and forth like, monkey with wings? No, that's not. No, a wolf was okay. Um, and at some point, how many people we get? We get
Pretending to hurt myself.
I didn't do that. He's gonna go to. Where's my dice? Okay, I'm gonna go ideally stumble onto Rock with Lunlin and ask him his opinion.
You
So
see
what
what
is?
Rock was telling you. He's
Mhm.
just kind of off to himself. It takes you a little while to find it, and you just hear the chittering of small pebbles coming, hitting in the interior of the cavern.
Mhm. So I will just come out of the gate. Hey, Rock, I was looking for somebody. We're trying to think of new forms for the dragon fight. I feel like the fox with wings is good luck, but I don't know if it's gonna be helpful. Do you have any ideas for fun or useful forms Lillian could take?
Uh,
She doesn't seem partial to the monkey idea so far.
something that flies that someone can sit on.
Hmm.
Is there something big enough that, like, I don't know, Sedge or you can be on, where you can stay in the air and cast spells? Just keep pace with the dragon, like a mini dragon. Can you make a mini dragon?
Oh, but is that like rooting for the other side though? I like the idea. Wait, it doesn't have to be a green dragon. It can be any kind of dragon. Orange dragon.
Purple. I like
Purple? What do you think, Loon? Oh, she? Okay. We might give that a shot.
I don't.
But
I don't. I mean, we've she's been a eagle before, right?
mhm.
I
It's a
mean,
bit.
that's cumbersome. What about a bat? Bats can see in the dark if it gets dark.
Hmm.
Like a giant bat.
Oh, do
Is
we
that a
do we have to go underwater to get to that cavern? Might be something that can swim for a minute too.
Uh, yeah,
Shit.
but a dragon's not gonna. We can't fight it underwater.
But
I
just to
just, I
get
just feel like
Lunlin
if
to
you
the
can stay
cave.
above it, you have an advantage.
So it's gotta be something where it doesn't hold water either. 'Cause it won't be able to fly if it's too water bound. Oh shit.
What about an octopus? I mean, is she strong? Can she grab a dragon?
She can try. Because she's strong enough for Sej to ride her,
Yeah,
but
maybe,
for grabbing.
or like I don't know, a cave shark, and she bites it, and Dregnar holds the dragon. Well, but then he'll turn into
I
gas. I don't know. I
I
don't know
w-
how to fight a dragon.
I would need 10 minutes at the mouth of the cave and summon her in the water, but the shark idea is my favorite so far.
Yeah, I mean, we had that fight against the bog hag way back, and we had swamp sharks, or she saw swamp.
Oh,
You don't really know that though, I guess, because you couldn't see it. She could see it. She didn't like it.
that was a fever dream to me. Most of that day was. I remember
Yeah,
eating
something.
things.
I mean, I guess that would help, because if she does go in the water, maybe we leave them as a surprise,
Hell of a surprise.
right? And then we cover the land, and we have enough of us who can kind of get in the air. You can turn someone into something.
hmm
I don't know, maybe we have one of us turn into a giant monkey again. between a monkey and Dregnar and Davis and Karos' strength,
Oh,
right?
that
And start fighting it, then we just got it covered everywhere.
mm-hmm. I was gonna say the giant monkey would have a better grasp of holding a dragon in place than the octopus, but then the damn dragon just turns into smoke again.
Yeah.
This thing sucks. Kick a rock. Not that rock, the little one on the ground. Shit.
Ow! What the heck?
Sorry, my figure of speech went too far.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I kind of like the water creature thing, but she might be. I mean, I also don't want Luna to get hurt. It's like I'm always terrified for Pebble in every fight we go in, but thankfully everybody ignores her.
Mm-hmm. And
Just
flying may be the best bet then.
do I run off a lot?
Um, Definitely the most out of the group. I don't know what defines a lot though. Eh, ish, I guess.
Do you feel I put you guys in danger often? And you can be honest.
Uh,
I don't count when I went crazy and tried to kill you all. That wasn't. I didn't mean to.
that wasn't you in my book. That was, whew, crazy day. I don't know about the sliding scale for often, but we haven't put in danger before, but more often than not, there's seems to be a good resolution to most of it. Sure, I'm scared while we're trying to get to the destination, but once we're there, I feel like it's something greater that helps us. Um, like the number of times you've helped out back in Green Hill, that was countless. But
Do you think
getting
I
this,
run on dumb luck?
I don't know if I'd say that. I'd say I won't disagree. I think the group gets lucky more often than not. Um,
No, I don't want to
Sometimes
live
it's
off of luck. Luck's not a safe way to trust your friends' lives.
ah, I was gonna I was gonna say it'll get you really far. It'll get your ass out of Dodge more times than not. But yeah, once friends are at stake, yeah, I do lose some confidence when you phrase it that way.
When we bamfed, I don't know if that's a good word, but poofed
Is that the poof?
into
Okay, gotcha.
the into the Sphinx's world. Were you scared?
Only once it roared and I my ears were ringing for a few minutes, but I was more dumbfounded and amazed for the most part. The fact that we'd see a sphinx, I'd only really read like fairy tales about them, so it was insane to know. Oh shit, this really exists. um, I found it exciting. I didn't feel specifically scared or threatened. As far as I read, they like asking their questions or riddles, and that's their shtick. That's their big thing. I know. I don't know if we could have taken them, but my weapons were put away. Most of us had it that way. I
Yeah.
feel like if there's anything we could have talked our way out of, a sphinx is a pretty good, a safe bet. Not a safe bet, but
I just if it had decided that we were thieves,
right.
it
You mentioned that.
probably could have killed us all. And I wanted to go, well, and I'm sorry to you, but when I went back and you were beside me, I thought, hey, I'll bring Al. Al will be cool, and I didn't think of anything other than I made a new friend, and I've got out once, and we'll get out again because we always do, and but then everybody came, and I clearly did not know what
Mm.
I should have listened to you guys.
I see this circling back to what you said about luck, where it's worked in our favor so far. I was gonna say I don't mind being pulled because it's been working in our favor, but it does feel like it only takes one time for it to go off the wall or go wrong, and then there's some major damage
Right.
or worse.
We lose someone,
Hmm.
and that's not worth any exciting finds or magic.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but the information and the adventures are good, but yeah, I guess at least less of it, or give us more time to like digest the ideas before just hopping through a portal. Ugh.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. Don't don't tell Dregnar I asked these questions. He's
Oh,
not mad at me. Uh,
yeah, no problem. Lips are sealed.
yeah. I think Lunlun should be a shark, just a big mean shark. And then I have someone to swim.
Al gives a big toothy smile with that. We're gonna, if we get the time to set up outside of the cavern, we're gonna try a shark. I need to know how that works. It's gonna be great. As a backup plan, turning Davis into a shark.
Heck yeah. That'll be fun.
Hmm.
Do you think we're gonna beat this thing? We're gonna beat
I think we're a lot more prepared than we were last time, but I don't know, I feel like dragons are pretty smart. It might be maybe not prepared like it built something, but prepared like it knows us better too. Um,
going
I'm,
at home turf too.
hmm but this time we know what the home turf does mostly. God, I hope that was all of it. Um, but overall, yeah, I'm optimistic because I need to get through this writer's block on this damn Dragon Slayer song. So we're gonna kill this thing one way or another.
Yeah.
I've got like
Can't
half
wait.
a sentence.
Can't wait to hear the finished song once we kick this in. But
I want to
thanks.
make it 15 minutes. It's gonna be great.
I kind of just turn away and start throwing pebbles at the wall again.
Hey, thanks for the brainstorm with the with Lulin's shape. That'll come in handy. I'll leave her as a flying fox for I guess until we get to the cavern though, since we can't really wheel a shark that far. Then I'll take a seat next to Rock and see if I can find any pebbles as well.
What if you made her look like Agni? Full on like Agni. Would that piss the dragon off?
Ooh.
Or could you turn one of us into a, is Agni a creature? Is that within your realm of your skills?
I think that'd be illusion more than actually creating, a tiny dragon. But the idea is there. I think, I mean, if I was at my house and then a little owl came out and started trying to bite my leg, I'd be really freaked out. I think this is a valid plan for catching him off guard and him being like, what the fuck is that? These are psychological warfare. I like this.
Right? Like we kind of got saved last time by. And I just they clearly don't like each other. Just might I don't know. Just another thing to think of, I guess.
Mhm.
Don't steal all my pebbles.
I'm gonna scoot like a little pile of 4 or 5 over to him.
Tinging them against the wall, just ting, ting. Every now and then one will bounce a little too far and kind of like bounce off my shell or top of my
I'll have
side.
I'll have Han walk around and pick a few up. Every now and then he'll toss one as well. He'll keep them coming.
Yeah, I was almost picturing like if one of the pebbles got a little too stray, Pebble would swoop down and scoop up a pebble as well.
Yeah, Pebble. Good bird. I pat Pebble and feed her some pieces of ration.
Okay. All right. Anything else from you two?
Ting, ting.
Very well.
Think.
So, as the hours, as time kind of progresses forward, after having a little bit of a discussion, which I don't believe anyone is aware of except for Rock, Dregnar finds a relatively quiet place amongst the kobolds to try to focus and ponder. And I don't know which questions you decided that he was going to ask or try to delve into history about. I think he shared them with you guys.
I'll defer to Rock since he actually answered.
Okay, Mr. Rock.
As he looks up what he's trying to find.
While we're looking up, Carlos, are you doing anything?
I was kind of thinking about that. I don't know if he's just kind of like psyching himself up, maybe helping out if anybody needs assistance getting stuff ready. Probably just trying to think over our last encounter with the dragon,
Sure.
remembering how it kind of fucked with our minds.
Okay.
And I was able to kind of get out of it, but he wasn't sure how to help the other people with that.
Well, this is a nice little way we can kind of loosely implement know your enemy, right? You're not necessarily studying it, but you've encountered it. Um, um, let's do a little DM potential meta help for you. Is there any aspects of Z Dragon that you would like to possibly understand better? Keep it from like a physical state or a combative state, kind of, like that kind of information.
I think he'd be mainly focused on, because like obviously it was resilient and had methods of travel, swimming and flying in gaseous forms that he can't think too much about stopping just because of the size difference and stuff.
Mhm.
But the primary thing he's been trying to think about was the 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 brain gas or the effect that had people fighting each other and
Mm,
seeing enemies everywhere. While he was able to ward his own mind for it, he was at kind of a loss and trying to think back of like, was there any clues as to what allowed people to shake it off? Was it taking damage, giving damage? Was it
yeah,
just fortifying your own mental fortitude and shaking it off?
yeah, understood. Go ahead then, and um, you can go ahead and give me like a recent history check, right? So since you've encountered it.
Let's see. I got
Bada bing, bada boom. I know that timer sound. Do 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 do
Yep,
do do
same.
do do. Food's ready.
you.
Dirty 20. Okay. Natural 12 to 20. Um, yeah, I think what Karos would have picked up if it wasn't obvious to everyone else is that you are not just fighting the dragon. There's an unseen threat there, or like the not so obvious threat of the layer itself is something you are dealing with.
It was like the environment itself
Yes.
was
Yeah. Whether I ran it like that or not, because frankly, I may have made some flaws, but something that if I would have run it correctly, I may have, I don't remember at this point. The effect didn't seem to, or wasn't intended to linger that long. It seemed to be like a moment of cloudiness, and then you were able to almost get your senses back. But the frequency at which that someone could lose their senses wasn't something that you picked up in the moment, but DM to player, the best way that I can explain it is that it is basically like one of those potential layer actions, and it would last until the next layer action. So there's windows of time where one or multiple allies would fall victim to this hallucinogenic gas. And the way that it would be manifested, it's that constant little fog cloud that's in there, and then it could be a mix of the unnatural plants and vegetations and fungi releasing different spores or pollens. It could be that there's bubbling gases from the pool and all that just seem to cloud the senses and make you hallucinate. And I think all of you at one point, if not all of you, most of you have, and I think Karos did. One of the common things that you'll see is fighting the little snapdragons and stuff like that, little like guardian drake dogs. Going into it, you're not really sure of a way, as you're trying to like think and ponder on it, a way to protect yourself from it. You know that things that can bolster one's willpower, aka wisdom saves, will help against it. But you do know that the effects do not linger long, but that doesn't mean that once you've been affected once, you can't be affected again. It just seems to just kind of ebb and flow within the person's mind, depending on how much gas or whatever they're exposed to.
Did it
So-
seem like there was pods of gas, or was it just kind of like it's something that just kind of you couldn't avoid by trying to observe, like, oh, there's a cloud of a stink cloud rolling through?
As it stands, the way that you understood it is that it's that supernatural nature. Like the only way you can explain it is it's the supernatural nature of the layer. Kind of how like at times the ground would crack and the roots would bend and buckle and the ceiling would kind of collapse in on you guys. It's its own like alien landscape in a sense, if that makes sense. It doesn't it's not something that you can necessarily understand. But I would say maybe something that Karos has experienced slightly in his backstory. I just don't want to give spoilers. So you have some familiarity with landscapes and caverns and stuff acting on their own.
Funky.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, Adam to player, DM to player. Essentially, yeah, it's one of the layer actions. It's a wisdom save. You become charmed, and while you're charmed, everything you see is essentially like it's like your allies are not your allies, and they're attacking your allies. Essentially, I don't know how to explain it right. I remember it was like, oh, you just said like snapdragons coming through the mist and dragging your friends away. And I don't remember if I ran it correctly, but essentially it's meant to be from the layer action to the beginning of the next layer action if you failed. But then it kind of purges itself from your system.
Is there just out of
Mhm.
for how you run it versus a layer action can occur? He has a certain amount of charges, or does it
No.
just happen at the end of
Everyone.
everybody's turn?
It goes on initiative 20
Okay,
after
okay.
everyone else is modified. It is always last on initiative 20. So, and I know, for example, like I discussed the one that like, I know you didn't ask about this, but it's just for me to remember, and maybe y'all will remember. Like one of the other ones was where like the zigzag lines would draw, kind of representing like the ground buckling or the ceiling starting to kind of fall in on you guys. Like it's I ran it where it did it and then it popped. It's supposed to like outline it, and then at the beginning of layer action, at the end of layer action, it was supposed to pop. So it gave you time to move out of the way. I
Gotcha.
forgot. So that's also like you guys please remind me to do that.
Sorry,
And
giving
then
you a
the
do-over.
third
So there's
Yeah,
at least a tactical, like you might be stuck, but
Mhm.
or you might not be able to avoid it, but there's a possibility that you could try to if you
Yeah.
saw a scenario where it was gonna crack open.
Yeah,
You
and
try-
then the other layer action, which you guys are loosely aware of exists, I think you never actually saw it. You just heard it rumbling and shaking and stuff like that. It's the one. So, but yeah, since you were concerned about the layer and you rolled a 20, I'll give you some info.
I'll kind of ponder that for a while, and then when I think I've kind of like thought back on the previous fight, kind of bring that up with everybody, be like, look, I don't think we'll be able to shake. The rest of you probably won't be able to shake the influence of this thing to like fight it off, but might be able to avoid it if sometimes if we're lucky. So just try to keep an eye out for where the cracks and crevices are coming up. We
When
can at
you're
least
having
mitigate it.
this discussion with the group, Sej will be, well, okay. You said it affects our mind and our will. I
Yes,
think I
I
can
I
pray
understand
for
there's nothing that you could do. I get it. You're helpless to assist,
something.
but let's try to steel yourself.
No,
Oh,
the opposite, my furry friend. But the problem is I can only channel Surya's powers to a degree. I was going into it thinking that probably the aura that protects us from the toxins, that would be the prayer and the mantra that I carry into the conflict. But I think with some preparations, I could bolster our will instead. What would you all prefer?
out of character. What the spell is he?
Aura
referring to?
Purity
So
was baller.
Yeah, the Aura Purity was pretty
yeah,
great. So
that's the one that he's by default probably gonna run. But he could do oh my goodness, why can't I think advantage on wisdom saves or something?
Well, not blessed, but I don't know. You're a cleric. Come on.
Yeah.
yeah, don't you know the name of your spells? Come on.
Oh, Lord, you guys act like I've played a cleric recently. Ah.
I mean, you did play a cleric. You've played a lot of cleric. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, it was Beacon of Hope, I think, if I remember right, was what I was thinking.
That is advantage on wisdom saves and death saves.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It
Is that
is
third level spell?
concentration. It's only up to.
Yeah, everything. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, any number of
Everything is
creatures.
concentration.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, it's like a basically. Um, Again, that's where he was saying he can only channel a limited portion of Surya's power, but aka concentration mechanic. Concentration. I want to say concentration, but I keep saying consecration. Ugh. So just for you guys to decide. Because you guys
For
will be running.
Corbin to decide. I mean, Al to decide.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
let
was
me
like-
look up
Alright.
purity again here. Because
No,
yeah, that was
purity
pretty
was
clutch.
insanely good
Oh,
for
it
you
was
guys.
so helpful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Like
what I'm reading.
we almost
So
TPK
that
if not for
one,
it.
yeah, that one is so the beacon. He just casts it. We just have to be within 30 feet when he initially casts it. This one we have to stay within 30 feet. Cannot become disease.
Yeah, but
resistant to
terrain-wise,
poison
there may not be
damage,
more
and
than 30 feet
advantage.
of ground.
Yeah. Well, no, I think purity is still the clutch because advantage on wisdom saves is good and the max health healing is good, but this, in addition to the poison resistance, includes blinded, charmed, deafened, frightened, paralyzed, poisoned, and stunned
Mm-hmm.
advantage throws too. So that's not wisdom
That's huge.
specific. Yeah.
And
Oh.
immune to disease.
Yeah. So
Okay. Just
yeah, I think the purity is still good. I had forgotten the advantage on the certain type things, but
very well.
I mean, if
Um,
Davis is being totally greedy, then he would prefer a Beacon of Hope because Aura Purity almost does nothing for him.
Can't believe you do this.
very well.
you have
Um,
resistance against poison.
No, I just have advantage on all saving throws against any condition.
Gotcha.
That's what warlords do.
I've got a -1 wisdom throw, so
Oh,
Yeah, but you also have a bolstered
We have Indomitable too, right?
Indomitable, which actually in Materia makes you proficient in the save if you're not, right? So
true.
actually makes it a little bit less ass.
Right.
Because it's such a trap. It's like, oh hey, I'm gonna save this for the wisdom save that I fail.
Except
Oh, I
it's still
failed
gonna be
it.
a bad roll because it's still a
Let me
bad
still
number.
roll it because of exactly.
It's like
I rolled
wow,
another
advantage,
0.
but yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
An advantage
Cool.
on something that I roll an average of like 9 on my save, and it's like, oh great, now it's
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
like 12.
Yeah. All right. Um, I got to do Dregnar his thingy. Y'all are doing your thingies and prepping. Davis is writing his letter. Kobolds are raiding.
Apparently, it's letter number 6.
Go team, Cobalt.
Yeah. By the way,
Uh,
how can y'all say? Can you make it a mini dragon while you're surrounded by kobolds and not like just stare at those kobolds?
I was imagining a mini version of the Despoiler, just where he's like, "What?"
And just have
No.
this like weird high pitched voice, like I don't want to do it.
Okay, I was like, did I
I
get
was
picked up?
gonna
By
do
your
it,
mic?
but I don't want to.
You thought long and hard about that.
I also don't have
But,
anything that he said. Like, has he spoken to us? I don't know that he has. I'm sure he.
Oh yeah,
has.
he did.
You said my pet when we killed his mimic.
Killed his pet. If you guys don't remember the things that he said, then that's on you guys.
I'm sure it's in my notes, but I just don't remember the voice
possessive.
particularly.
Mm.
Yeah.
Apparently,
think-
I was asleep for this fight because I'm forgetting a lot of stuff.
I'm pretty sure it sounded something like,
That's my pet. You guys are jerks.
This is
My God, Dragon's here.
You guys suck.
You
You guys are the worst.
guys are the worst.
But imagine though, we have the little dragon. He's like, "Son, is that you?"
My boy.
We got him.
my sweet boy.
My sweet, sweet little angel. So yeah. So the night will progress. The afternoon will progress into night. The kobolds will start returning. They will bring back with them some half-eaten rolls of
Woohoo.
bread. They've taken some barley and millet like porridges away. They've found some leftover and forgotten dried meats. You know, Carver is not necessarily doing well. So a lot of the time when they bring in the food that they've scavenged or, as they say, raided, it's a little bit older. It's something that maybe was left out by mistake. It's hard to imagine that mold. It's kind of sad to say, but especially in the soot flats, that even things that would get moldy don't necessarily go to waste just because people are pressed on such hard times here. But they managed to gather some things. On top of those that went to the woods, and they hunted and are bringing back small game such as like squirrel and some other small bird. They gathered some edible roots and uh, even some types of what do you call them, like acorns and stuff like that, and pine nuts and stuff like that, because they're actually bringing like pine cones and they're getting the nuts out. So you have a collection of things to make Sedge's mighty meal from. With that, let me see if actually, geez, I had so many Discord conversations that I lost where Sedge was. Yeah, so we'll say kobolds begin to excite, the energy begins to build up, the excitement is there. The multiple cauldron setup is going, one of which is the thimble that Sej had gotten from the Hag's Covens. He expands it to the largest size that it can be, which is essentially the size of a cauldron. On top of the two other cooking utensils and pots that they've had here, fires get lit. That comes to the collection of water and alcohols that have been taken get a boiling, and essentially Sedge gets to work on making his Sedge's meal, right, with the ladle. As always, the aroma begins to fill the area. It's absolutely delicious. And unless if you guys wish to interact or roleplay, the evening will progress with a lot of eating, very happy kobolds, singing,
One
dancing.
little when the food is ready, I'd imagine Sej in Draconic saying, "Let the feast begin," just to set
Nice.
things off.
Yes.
And the manager just stares at him like, "What?" Rock.
But the
Yeah.
kobolds should recognize it, I think.
Yeah, the
Kobolds do.
kobolds repeat what he says in sheer excitement, and they just dart past the menagerie in their little dumbfound, confused state.
What do you say? Oh
And
God, there's a lot of them.
yeah, but yes, we'll say, for the sake of traveling and stuff, you guys will have enough food to take with you to get you at least 2 days into the Stranglebark as well. So if you're having a hard time finding food or that, you still have enough rations that you don't have to dig into on your own personal stuff. So yeah, is there anything you guys wish to do in the evening, or are we just going to say let's roll for morning stuff?
We never did talk about Dregnar's meditations.
Oh
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, we have some. How many do we get to ask?
2.
he can ask 2 an evening. They cannot be repeated, and they're, well, you just tell me. I know I have his role, so you just need to tell me what 2 questions are you asking.
Should just for as out of roll here. Dragnar's list. Are we just going 1 to 10 or?
You had mentioned a couple, right? Let me look.
Hmm.
No,
I threw out
Al
yeah,
had
Oh
a.
no, it was
Al had a
Al. Oh, my
few.
bad. I
I,
forgot that was.
my one comment was I disagree with the first one.
It does sound kind of funny, yeah.
But that was just was Al? Do you remember what yours were? I'm trying to. Well, I
Uh,
have a list, but
the battle related ones, 7 through 10,
7 through 10. Okay.
and 4.
Um.
I think number 4 is
Four maybe too vague.
true.
Seven's pretty specific enough, I would say. Maybe that's a good start because the 7 and 4 are related, I would say.
Hmm?
Yeah. Yeah.
I like.
So I guess
Yeah.
a 7 would be a good one to start. I think.
Mhm.
And maybe 10, 9, 10. One of those two. I guess so. We'll go first question. Would be what caused its wound?
The dragons.
The
The
dragon. Sorry.
smoke dragon.
This
The despoiler of
Yeah.
virtue.
spoilers, yeah.
Okay. Thought you guys knew. Okay. Had to think what wound you guys were talking about, and I remembered. So, okay, Rock, go ahead, as you were the one that was asking the question. So this is giving me my starting point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go ahead and roll me a d10, Rock.
E10. Let's go with a dice I've never rolled before.
Wow.
5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and so Dragnar's bonus is, I have to remember how this exactly
His
works.
history is +6.
Yeah, and he's double proficient when doing it.
Oh, so then 10.
So 10 plus what you rolled to 16 total, based on what you rolled. As he's finding his quiet place to meditate before all the commotion with the food and all that, the spoils from the raid and the harvest, Dregnar, finding his quiet, brooding zen, is given a vision from the shadows that is something similar to what he's seen before. And when he's thinking about what caused the wounds to the despoiler, one very clear, brief image shows and it flashes in his mind, and it's when the despoiler is inside of the heart of the mountain, going for the one of the foxfire gems. That agony in its true Vulpine's form, like rushes it and like basically tackles. And while they're kind of tackles it, and while they're kind of in like this tangle falling, Agni gets a big old chunk bit out of, bites a big old chunk out of its wing, and it's never healed properly. That's what Dregnar sees with the 16.
Okay. Didn't heal properly. Interesting.
I'm gonna, if I could,
Yep.
I want to riff on number 10 a little bit.
Yeah.
Yay.
I'm trying to think of a way of posing this in a question. So I'll just talk through it a little bit first before I come up with the specific
Yeah.
question to being asked. But the idea being is how can we draw him out and maybe get him off guard or get him out of either out of his lair or just out of his comfort zone.
Mhm.
And I was starting to think maybe something to do with because when who we are pretty sure is the sovereign took that gem, like did he get chased? Like that would seem like a prized possession that would provoke a pursuit, if nothing else. But it seems like they got away with it, so maybe they won't pursue. So I guess the question might be, has anything ever provoked the Despoiler to leave this place?
Nice.
What's up, Jones? What's up?
Oh,
Is
Jones, I gotta
a
refresh
question?
my thing. Yes, has anything ever
No.
provoked him to leave?
No, he's not here. He's just down by my desk meowing.
Oh, well, I also lost your camera, so I've had to fix that.
Gotcha. Alright, has anything ever provoked him to leave? To leave. Okay, so the next roll would have been, has anything ever provoked him to leave? 15.
Yeah, and it's still
No,
plus 10.
15 plus 10, so 25 total. Dragnar's gonna not get the answer that he's probably expecting. He gets images of the Despoiler leaving different places, not necessarily this cave. I mean, it had to leave to arrive here. So he sees it flying at great distances as like a storm cloud travels. He sees it also, like he sees it's kind of like two images that he sees. He sees one like a mighty storm cloud cutting across the land, but then he sees like the storm cloud kind of diminish as it like circles over a mountain and it just kind of gathers and stays there, and it hasn't moved for a very long time. And he would get a vision of just the Despoiler sleeping. So 25 total. It's never left the mountain
Interesting.
since it's gotten here.
Okay.
So yeah, sleeping on its hoard. Cool.
To gain power.
Yeah, 'cause that's how they work. Okie dokie. So, feasts are had, celebrations are had. Osuit plays the spoons again, like he did last time.
Oh, we're partying all night then.
That's why he took a nap. He was smart. He's old. He knows how to do this. He had a,
Good man, good man.
yeah. Some of y'all like pre-gaming. You don't drink to pre-game. You nap to pre-game. So you got
That's
extra
right.
energy.
The drinking is the game.
Yeah, exactly. So through the celebration, Sej is jovial and enjoying his time with the kobolds, making sure in a way that they get more food than they would normally get. His way of thanking those that are going to be coming with you guys. But festivities, celebrations do eventually lead to sleep and rest.
Before that,
And
maybe even during said
Sure.
festivity celebrations. Davis will find Rock, if I may.
Yep.
I will sit next to you and I'll just sit down and say, I figured it out. Malala. That's the word. That's our code word. Like, I know what I'm doing. I want to do it. I know you guys don't want to, but I'm going to do it. And I'm with you. I will go with you. I'll do whatever you want. Even if the others don't want. So just say, Malala.
Malala?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
Oh, it's my friend's sister's name.
Malala. I'll remember that. I don't think anyone should be following me though. But thank you.
Well, no, if that's, yeah. But you were right. should trust you more. But it's hard when we're not being given all the information, right? That's the thing, is that it's I didn't know what you were gonna do. It's when you're being a little deceptive. I don't know. I can't figure out what you're trying to do. So if you just let me know, like just say, hey, Malala. I'll be like, you got it, bud. Let's go.
I'm not always the best with words.
That's the only one you need to know.
Malala. Malala, 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 Malala. Pretty name.
Thanks. I'll tell her.
Malala, Malala, Malala.
All right. So, belly's full. Maybe feet hurting a little bit from dancing and partying. Eventually, sleep does take you. Comforting sleep. As you are surrounded by friends, little protectors, little guardians, little keepers of the Snoring Mountain, and those inheritors of the will of the monastic forges. Time will pass, rest will be had, and a new day will come. So, question on this then. As you guys rise and as you guys begin to depart, leaving the, I guess, I don't want to say hidden, but the easily overlooked entry point into this part of the mountain, traveling down the side of it, being accompanied by a number of the kobolds, essentially getting as close to a grand send-off as possible. You realize that you've impacted them and they trust you, and you realize that as you're walking away, that Osut is there, and he will address the menagerie and address his kin that is going to join the menagerie on their journey. You know, sometimes you think you'll sleep on it and you'll know what to say. That doesn't work. Listen, menagerie, good luck. That's all we have to say. You don't have to do this, as I've said, but thank you. Be brave, but don't be stupid.
Oh, no promises.
Ah,
I mean, we'll promise to be brave, but we might be stupid.
We
oh,
do best.
I
We'll be fine. Thank you for
it's
everything.
not often. No, you're welcome, but understand, it's not often we get friends from outside. Please come back
Oh, absolutely.
and try to make sure that those that accompany you are safe as well. I understand some lives will be lost, but just be careful. And thank you. And I'm just rambling. And oh yes. He raises his staff over, and he kind of grabs it with two hands and starts kind of doing like a little chant thing. May Agni watch over you, and may you kick that dragon's ass.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yes. Be safe. And
We'll see you in a little couple days. I guess it'll be like a week. Takes a while.
Celebration will be grand.
I look forward to it. I think we all do. Please, what I want to say is that thing is the darkest point of all of our pasts. We never had to live with it directly, but we are descendants of its poison. We are descendants of those that were brought up in its miasma. I could not allow myself to imagine a time where my descendants would breathe fresh air, not tainted by that vile dragon. If you manage to rid this world of it and send it to whatever hell it belongs, our future generations will actually be free from the incessant whispers and corruption of this creature, of this stain on our bloodline. I'll see you as champions and not as corpses. Good luck.
Here, here.
And uncharacteristically, he just turns and walks into the cavern.
Ready, boys?
As you say that, like 40 kobolds. Ha!
Oh. Yeah. Everybody, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Shall we? Menagerie?
And they start, they basically like get on all fours and they start like, swarming and amassing and waiting for you. And they like all turn around. Ah! You coming?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Time to do it.
And easy enough to get to the border. I guess I could switch the map over to where the high pine forests of the Foxwoods smash into the unnaturally thick and suffocating woods that are the Stranglebark. That's Green Hill. Yeah.
Still floating.
We're all starting to feel a little nervous about this. Like nobody thinks we can do it.
And nobody thinks we can do any of the things we do.
Yeah, they've had generations of having to deal with the dragon. We're I don't know if we're new to it or if we're stronger than we think or they think. We've had some exposure.
So with that, you guys make it to the border. Very brief snippet of where you guys are on the map, and for the sake of it, though less sunlight kind of piercing through, but I guess since you guys are close to the border, we will venture into the Stranglebark when you guys get back. Go ahead.
I assume I can do some important rolls and all that fun stuff.
Oh, right. We need
Oh
to do all our day
yes.
stuff.
Let's do the day stuff before the morning. Thank you. Yes. And remember your boon of the mentor. I'll remind you for a while. So. And then Al, since you're running Sej, yeah, there you go.
Do you
Bard,
have anything
cleric.
else?
He's a cleric.
Yes. Neat. Can't wait to cast Toll of the Dead. Nope, already had that shit.
He has all of them.
Neat.
Yeah.
He's even got 2 life. Good man.
Davis, your totem is
Bull.
Constitution.
Big like bull. No, it's bull.
Bull
Strong.
strength. Okay, strong boy. Engine.
Oh man, that means we're arm
Hortons.
wrestling again. I'm just kidding.
The kobolds. If you say anything out loud, I'm sure the kobolds will be on board.
Yeah, that no shit.
They had fun with the
Cool.
last arm wrestling.
Nice.
Did you
Nice.
roll a 10? Is that why we got an O?
Oh no, you didn't hear the meowing?
You hear the man.
Wow.
I did. Yeah.
No. So I rolled a 1 on my engine,
Sick.
Okay.
and I rolled a 10 and a 17, and then I re-rolled and got a 17 and a 15. Keeping the
Okay.
17, we got a 15.
Got it. Got it. So you rolled a 1 on the engine. They still broken a careful spell. Okay. Cool.
Careful. Okay.